You know, we are really proud of Steve. He works really hard. It is not an easy thing to go up there and fight every single day against your own party for what we love, for our families, for our kids. But we have to do it. And this is an easier place to do it, but it has to go beyond us. So that's the next step for us, to not only clarify what we're after and find people to run. That's why we keep the tone in here friendly, although we do talk about issues, is we need to find people to run for office so that we have more and more of this. And then it spreads to other counties that are a little bit more difficult. But since Steve is here tonight, and you have another time that you're coming back to address this for a longer period of time, but for a few minutes, will you come up and just share some of your current thoughts on how things are going?
Yeah. You know, in the vein of what Ken has been sharing with us, the very first press call that I got after we won the primary, and I owe you guys everything for all your help. But after we won the primary, the very first call that I got from, I think it was the Chronicle, and they said, "Are you going to be a bipartisan kind of politician? Are you going to reach across the aisle and stop this gridlock?" And I said, "Stop what gridlock?" And he said, "The gridlock that exists in Austin." I said, "Tell me about that." And he said, "Well, surely you understand that there's gridlock in Austin, don't you?" And I said, "No, not so much." I said, "Over the past 30 years, you look at any political watchdog group that's been watching the budget, and they'll tell you that our budget should be around $70 billion, not $88 billion. If we were growing the budget with inflation, with population adjusted for inflation, we'd be spending $15 to $20 billion less per biennium. The problem is we've been reaching across the aisle too much. And we haven't even gotten half a loaf. We've been getting nailed every step of the way because we've not stood by our principles." And I got off the phone with that guy, and this was before the general election. We had just won the primary, and I was driving up Branch Crossing. I was about to turn left on Alder Bridge. I mean, I really remember really well. And I had this momentary fear. And I thought, what's going to happen to me, God, when I go to Austin and the pressure is on me? I mean, I know what my values are, but I'm going to really find out really quickly how deep my convictions are. You talk to these individuals day one when they come in the freshman class, and they're the second coming of Ronald Reagan. They all are, every single one of them. And then the pressure comes. And then the opportunity to go to the parties. And you want to be in the club. You want to be accepted by the leadership. You want the Speaker of the House to come and put his arm around you and say, "Man, you had a great session. Good job. Way to carry the ball. Way to be a leader." No, way to be a follower. Way to be a mindless sheep is what it is. But then the pressure comes, and you find out really quickly whether or not your convictions run very deep. Because every single one of the people, every single one of the Republicans that I've talked to, they got elected out of the 39. Think about that. 39. Every single one of them had very deep convictions. Wait, 29, right? Is it 41 total? 12 Democrats and
I think that's right.
29.
It's your class.
The problem, though, is that of the 29 Republicans, there were only about 18 whose convictions ran very deep. All of them had the same values. You talk to any of them, you give them a quiz, test, multiple choice, they're all going to score 100. But when the pressure's on, the question is, how deep do your convictions run? And will they cause you and will they call you to do the right thing? And that is the problem in the Texas State House today. And that is what is hurting the state. We rank number 2 on a per capita basis. Number 2 on a per capita basis in the United States for the second most debt of any state. We can't continue to do it. This is not a tax haven. It's true we don't have a state income tax, and I'm thankful we don't have a state income tax, but when you take among the highest property taxes and the highest sales tax in the United States, you combine those together, we're the 14th highest tax burden. By the time you add in other things like the margin tax, it puts us in the top 10. Our local debt, ISDs across the state of Texas carry over $100 billion in debt, debt load. It's almost $300 billion local debt statewide. Those are not representative of the values that we as Republicans hold dear. Most Democrats, when you sit down with them and talk with them, don't think that's sane. But we have a House leadership that's completely comfortable with it. In fact, they're trying to manufacture a crisis so that they can implement either, and I'm talking about the House, I'm not talking about the Senate, but right within the House, that would love to see us implement either gambling in the state of Texas, or an income tax, or a higher gas tax. We know that there's a better way. Common sense tells us there's a better way. And if we love Texas enough, we need to say, I can outlast you. And we will not grow weary, and we will not grow tired, and we will not stop fighting. I was at the Kingwood Tea Party last night. I was walking by some guy, and he goes, I don't know why I'm here. Yeah, we elect these guys, and they've been there one session, and you know, they just turn into one of the rhinos, and I don't even know what I'm doing here tonight. And I said, I don't know what you're doing here either. We've got to stay upbeat and positive, and we've got to encourage people to take a step into the fray. I did it, you all did it with me, or else I wouldn't have done it. But we've got to be willing to call other people and invite them into it like Julie did with me and like you guys did with me. We've got to encourage, for the sake of the next generation, we've got to encourage people to do it. We've just got to do it. And we've got to be upbeat, positive, because this is worth fighting for. Amen?
Amen.
Thanks. Appreciate you guys. One more thing about Ken Paxton. There are plenty of great people out there, but there's only one person in this race. There's only one person in this race that has a 14-year record of their conviction as a conservative. Just one. And that's why I'm supporting him for Attorney General.